Hello everyone, welcome back to another lockdown special, Flames of War Battle Report. Today's game is against someone I've not met in the flesh before. His name is Tom, and he commented on one of my videos asking if he could have a game, and I was more than happy to accept his challenge, since he's in the same boat as me, and able to get out of the house and play other people. So we are playing Outflanked. He will be the attacker in this mission as the Germans, and I will be defending as the Americans. I'll give the British a little break for today's game, but the British should be used for tomorrow's game, which should air next week. So, what has Tom brought? What I've learned from Tom is he's a much more experienced player than me. He's been in the game a lot longer, so should learn a few more things off him today, and especially in this building, since it's a very interesting list to me. Really like the look of it. So let's have a look at what he's brought. So as you can see, he has a Grenadier company, Panzergrenadiers, and again using the 9th Panzer card, so that's -1 point off every unit, but for a worse tactics rating, so it's a pretty good trade-off. So we have a HQ of 2 MP40 teams with Panzerfaust. First platoon is also a Panzer Pioneer platoon, so that means they can get over minefields easier and can also dig in better. So no doubt when these guys here get onto an objective, they'll be digging in straight away. It's a full platoon with Panzerfausts and a Panzerschreck as well. Second platoon, as you can see, is an armoured Panzergrenadier platoon with 4 half-tracks, one of them being upgraded with the anti-tank gun. The platoon has Panzerfausts, but no Panzerschrecks in this one. Furthermore, in this formation, we have 2 HMG teams. Oh, sorry, that's the 8cm mortars. There we have 2 8cm, 2 heavy machine guns. Then we have 3 Pak-40s, and right at the back, 4 armoured 7.5cm guns. And that's the formation. Very massive formation. That'll be breaking that this game. Pretty much be hanging on by my fingertips waiting for my reserves to arrive. In support, we have at the back 3 Wesps with their Panzer III OP. The Germans found Panzer III in a garage, still in its desert paint. That's the only Panzer III I had. 3 Panthers, 2 Flak 88s, and 2 Pumas. So hopefully these Pumas will be really exploiting that exposed flank in my deployment, because that's what I do every time I play Outflanked as the attacker. So this is a 100-point game. 1 point is made up for the Panzer Pioneer card, so there's 2 points left over. So Tom has gone with the own goal command card, so when he sees fit I have to re-roll my reserve rolls, which is great. So it could delay my armoured response to this. So that is Tom's German army, that's going to be attacking. Let's have a look at my defending Americans. So here is the first formation in my American force. I decided to go for just regulars, because I decided I'd rather have quantity over quality, but as most of you know, quantity has a quality of its own. So, first formation is an M4 Sherman company, so you can see the HQ consisting of 2 M4s. I then have a platoon of 5 76mm Shermans and 2 platoons of 5 75mm Shermans. So for reserves, pretty much everything part of the 76mm Shermans will have to be in reserve, which I'm happy with because they can go into ambush and hopefully counter the Panther threat. Second formation is a regular rifle company. So we have the HQ of 2 SMG teams, and then we have 2 massive platoons of rifle platoons. So we have 10 rifle teams, 2 bazookas and an LMG in both platoons. The bazooka and the LMG is added extra. Rounding off the formation is some anti-tank guns, so that's 57mm anti-tank guns, 4 81mm mortars, and 4 heavy machine guns. And that's 100 points in total. No command cards for me today, so hopefully I won't have to re-roll anything But there we go, hopefully enough meat to hold off the German advance. And now let's have a look at the board before deployment. This is today's battlefield. As you can see, I've already put out the dice to mark deployment zone. I've gone for this corner to defend, so the church, some of these hedgerows, and the edge of this town where some of the craters are in my deployment. As you can see here, these German dice are where they can deploy their objectives. So on the right of the board we have a forest, and there you can see this is the tip of the German deployment on their left flank, going across, plenty of cover for them on their first turn of movement. Might see them getting into this farmhouse first turn, so probably put a artillery marker by here for my mortars. But what I am expecting from the Germans is the Pumas to probably deploy around here and push up as much as they can, probably try to get into the forest just to extend their spearhead deployment along this flank to expose this part of the battlefield for them. So it should be interesting, and I'll get back to you now after deployment. So, I have deployed in my section. I've got a good little spread of regular Americans all over the deployment and where the objectives are. So we got one platoon by here and another platoon by here with a few in the church. My mortars are back here with the heavy machine guns, and the 57mm guns are over here. My 76mm Shermans are in ambush and the rest are in reserve. I did expect Tom to exploit the spearhead down the left flank, which he has, and as you can see there's quite a build-up of armour over here. The flak 88s have popped up in the woods, and the dreaded Panthers and the half-tracks are here as well, and the OP. In the regular deployment we have the Wesps. The Pack 40s are on the hill, with behind them are the 8cm mortars, and then we have the 7.5cm half tracks, a Grenadier platoon with the HQ, and then the HMGs are over here. So, because Tom is the attacker, he will be going first, so I have to weather this initial storm. Good luck to you, Tom.
Alright, good luck to you all.
Alright, so we'll recap what happened in turn 1 of movement. So in German movement, Tom is well on the move. He is tactically put his Panzer III OP on the hill, and he's been helped by some Panthers after following a successful blitz move. Seems that Tom can pass every skill test he needs to make so far. Half tracks right behind, and the Pumas have moved around as well. Over in the centre we have all the infantry moving forward as well, along with the HQ and the half tracks. So everything is really converging on this central objective. Luckily it doesn't come active until turn 6, so hopefully we'll have some stuff to push it off later in the game. So we're going into German shooting. So German shooting, you can see that Tom has covered the board in smoke. Here from the Wesps, and here from the 8cm mortars, because they're using their ranged in marker. So covered me a lot. The Panthers and Panzer III fired into my rifle team, and I lost a bazooka team, which isn't fun. And I was sweating a bit because I almost lost another bazooka team over in the church, courtesy of the heavy machine guns over here, which you can't quite see in this video, but they are there. So going into my turn 1, I have no motivation to do. I do have ambush, which I will bring in this turn, but once I start moving I'll bring them in. But yes, I am bringing in my ambush this turn, Tom.
Right.
And I do have 1 dice for reserves, and I get a 1.
Good news for me.
Yep. So it's going into American turn 1. So my movement's easy to recap. I didn't move anything. I popped my ambush by here, So hopefully these guys can get rid of a couple of Panthers and lighten the burden on these infantry. Apart from that, can't really fire anything else. This 57 might be able to get a shot up by here. This guy's blocked, so is this guy, and my formation commander is going to have to range in over yonder. So going into American shooting. So in my shooting I managed to re-range over here. First attempt, and I got a lot of hits, but Tom rolled very well on his saves and I didn't get a single kill. Over here though, a bit better. I managed to bail all 3 of the Panzer IIIs, but then I fluffed 2 of my firepower rolls. So hopefully one of these won't get back in, and even better if they run away. So we're going into German turn 2. And you have 2 bailed out tanks, as you know, Tom.
I do. So, I'll roll them both. So the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, in between alive and a dead one. He's rolled a 4.
Right, so he's back in.
The chap, he's rolled a 4. So they're both back in.
Nice, so I will probably lose some 76mm Shermans. So, and the other thing you've got left to do is a pin down Panzergrenadier unit.
Oh yes. So they're within range of the company commander, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So I'll just roll 2 dice. But they've both failed, so they're still pinned.
Ooh, right. So,
That's a bit unfortunate.
right, so we're going into German movement turn 2, and I'll get rid of this horrible smoke off the battlefield. So in the movement step, Tom came up with a scenario that might need the help of everyone on the internet. So with his Pumas, he did a cross here to get over this crater, and then he had the question whether he could then do a follow me based on the German stormtrooper move. But we both came into the conclusion that because he didn't actually roll anything to pass the cross here movement order, he can do a second one. But that's what we thought. Now, what does everyone else think? Surely there's some people who've been to tournaments and this has cropped up before, but please let us know. Furthermore, the Panthers are staying where they are, and I'll probably be losing a few of these boys now. The Grenadiers have got out and are now in the woods. Everything else has remained still. The formation commander is behind this farmhouse, and the Pioneers have dug in over here, which is nice. So now we're going to German shooting. So lots of shooting this turn, mainly directed at this section of the battlefield here. A lot of artillery going in, managed to pin down the HMGs, the rifle teams and the anti-tank guns. Lost an anti-tank gun, and I lost another bazooka, and I lost a rifle team as well. So all my bazookas are gone, all my lovely upgrades. What else? And the Shermans. So the Flak 88 missed, and as Tom said, contributed nothing to the turn of firing, but I have lost 2 Shermans. Tom then tried to to shoot and scoot with the Panthers, again behind the hill, but he failed. So hopefully this may be my chance, but I do have 4 less shots this turn. So going into my second turn, I have no bailed out tanks, because the bailed out tanks that would be bailed out are dead. But I do have a lot of pinned down infantry. So my pinned down rifle team rolls a 1, so remains pinned. My pinned down anti-tank guns roll a 3 and they unpin. And the HMGs roll a 4. Okay, so I'm going to have to pick up this camera and pick up my phone. Or I can balance it on my chest, which is great. So I get 2 dice for reserves, and I get a 1 and a 1.
Ooh.
So so you could burn this card next turn, but I'm still getting something in.
Oh, the reserve card.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't have that. I had to drop it.
Okay. Right then.
Yeah.
So we're going into American turn 2, and hopefully I can get rid of some German units. So here we go. So in my shooting, my repeat bombardment managed to get 2 infantry bases. The Panzergrenadier is still eluding me at the moment. My HMGs did open up a bit, but I didn't get any hits. The 57mm guns managed to bail 2 half-tracks. My firepowers are really letting me down. But not for the Shermans though, because I did get rid of another Panther. So it's just one last standing Panther at the moment. But it's quite likely he will stick around. And that is it for my turn. So going into German turn 3, Tom has not got a bailed out Panther, but you do have 2 bailed out half-tracks.
Okay, so I can re-roll the morale for the company commander.
Yeah, that's right.
So the first one, he gets in, and
Yep.
the second one, he gets in.
Okay, nice. And then you have a pinned down Panzergrenadier platoon.
Yeah, and they unpin as well.
Nice, so they're going to be back on the road. And then, you know what's next, don't you? The big one.
Oh my god, I hate Panthers. I rolled a 2, he runs away.
That's my objective achieved. That's it. I've won the game now in my eyes.
Yeah, you have.
well, there's still a fair few turns to go, and obviously my reserves are still nowhere to be seen. Don't know where they are. They're just having some donuts somewhere. So we're going into German movement, and we'll see what happens. So, German movement, the Grenadiers are moving up onto the hill with their half-tracks accompanying them. 2 of the armoured 7.5s have moved to try and get a flanking shot at this Sherman. Meanwhile, the Pioneer Grenadiers have all gone into this building after passing a blitz move as well, so that's got them all in there. And, oh yeah, forget, the Pumas again have moved around here, and they've got some flanking shots on some Shermans as well. So as Tom said, he is throwing everything at me, especially the 76mm Shermans. But here we go, we're going into German shooting. Let's see what they're going to be doing. So there's an absolutely massive storm of lead going on in this part of the board. I've lost another Sherman, but to the flak 88s this time. I've lost another 57mm gun and a few teams of infantry, and I'm getting hosed down by MGs from every flank. The Pumas with their bold little move didn't do anything anyway. And here we go. So, Tom, are you going to be doing an assault this turn?
Maybe.
Right, I'll put the camera down, and So we calculated the cover fire is a bit too rich for Tom's blood, so he's decided to stay there for now. So going into my turn 3, I have 3 pin down units, because the HMG's got a hit as well. So my infantry in the centre of the board have got a 6, they are unpinned. The 57mm gun has got a 4, so he is unpinned. And the HMGs get a 3, so that is not enough to unpin them, because it is a 4 for them. So I have a last stand test to do on the 57mm, and I get a 5, so he's still in the game. And then I have 3 dice for reserves. I get none again, but I do get 1. So that will be a unit of Shermans, I think. So going into my movement now, and I'll recap what's happened. So finally some Shermans are in. Hopefully I can deal with these. What else has moved is the Shermans have turned on the spot just to make their hulls go a bit in the other direction, to make these half-tracks move a bit more to get them, because they'll still probably be firing at the infantry on the hill. So going into my shooting now. So in my shooting, I managed to get rid of these pesky Pumas. Out of all 10 shots, I only hit twice. but I did pass my fire powers, which is nice for a change. The 57mm gun up here managed to hit 2 of the half-tracks, and they both bailed. With a combination of some tanks and HMGs, I managed to kill about 4 bases of infantry this turn, which is rather nice, I would say. Furthermore, some smoke is hiding where the Flak 88s are, so they can't pick off some of my Shermans this turn anyway. And another Sherman fired up at this half-track, so there's only one active one at the moment. But going into German turn 4, Tom, you have 4 bailed out half-tracks. Two bailed out half-tracks.
Yeah, 2 and a dead one. So I'll do the first guy because I get a reroll with the HQ.
Yep.
So he gets in.
Yep.
And then the other half-track, he gets in as well.
Nice. And then you have a pinned down Grenadier platoon.
I do. And they unpin for the 6.
Nice. And that is it for motivation. So now we're going into the movement. The Pioneer Grenadiers have come out of their house and with the formation commander are forming up to take on the Shermans and potentially the rifle platoon here as well. The other Grenadiers, whilst left of them, are also doing the same, and that was it for German movement. So we're going into German shooting. So Tom has thrown every gun he can bear at me. Sherman's are still intact, which is problematic. Every dice needed was just 1 short every time, which is just gutting. I know how that feels. The infantry are pinned again, though not by artillery, but by shots from 2 platoons of grenadiers and a formation commander, Pak 40s and half-tracks and armoured 7.5cm half-tracks. All have had a go and none have died. And that is where we're at. And now Tom is having a good think of where these assaults are going to come from, if they come. So unfortunately the assault faltered. There was just too much defensive fire and they got pushed back. But I think they only lost 1 base in doing so. So going into my turn 4, I have a pinned down rifle platoon that has unpinned, and a pinned down heavy machine gun team that has got a cock dice that they remain pinned. And I have a last stand test to do on my 57mm gun, and I roll a 4, so they're still happy. And then I have 3 dice for reserves, and I get none again, but I still get another platoon in, and that is it into turn 4. And now I get my reserves to come in and movement. So this is where I'm at with movement. I moved my Shermans over here and my new reserves are in here. So I'm going to pepper the Germans and try and give them a bit more of a bloody nose so they don't come back. And that's where we're at. So we're going into shooting. So that is the game done on turn 4. Tom has called it because basically at the moment we have most of his infantry are pinned and there's not enough for them to do anything, and I'm quite securely wedged onto this objective. So me and Tom have had our end of game chat. Both really enjoyed the game, and he said it wasn't as bad as he thought with the filming of it via my phone. Obviously the best thing would have been as if he was here himself, but due to the lockdown that can't be done. But we both got a game done and we have 0 chance of picking anything up off each other, which is good. So hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, if you've noticed anything we did wrong, please let us know, and mainly the thing, let us know about the Pumas. We would be interested to know about that. And we and Tom are already talking about a rematch because wasn't the best game for him. As I said, dice games not always the best. But yeah, I would like another game with Tom in the future. But tomorrow, Dave and Sherry are playing, and Sherry will be using the 1st Polish Armoured Division for the British. So for all of you who don't know that, it is a Sherman Armoured Squadron that are fearless. So that is quite terrifying. And I should be looking to get that game out onto YouTube next Saturday. So stay tuned for that, and I'll try to get more mid-war games done as well. So everyone stay safe, wash your hands, and remember 2 meters apart. Take care.